Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's the end of November, and you know what that means, don't you? Well, I'm assuming that most of you do anyway. Yes, it's time for my annual Top Cider Producers of the Year list. Why am I doing it at the end of November instead of the end of December? Because that's when I started doing it, alright? Seriously though, this is an annual thing that I do every year, where I list basically my top rated cider producers that I have done reviews for over the last year over the last year. As I said, I started it back in November. Oh god, I think I've been doing it for about 5 years now, something like that. Might even be even longer. You can actually go back onto my countdowns playlist and see all my previous ones. You can also compare, you know, how the companies have fared out and everything. I am now doing a top 20 instead of a top 10 because I now have 47 cider producers on this list. So it's, you know, getting a lot bigger. So I thought, you know, to give you guys more of a video, I'm going to do a top 20 instead of a top 10. Started doing that last year, and I'm going to continue on. Now, for those of you that are uninitiated with this, there are a couple of bits of criteria that I use for this particular list. I've took it upon myself that I don't put any cider producers where I've not had at least 3 of their range. That way I can actually get an average rating based on what I've thought of those 3 ciders. Anything below that you can't really give like an accurate reading and stuff. I keep on saying that I will actually do a list of cider producers that have only got 1 or 2 ciders in their range, but still haven't got round to doing that. And there's going to be no ciders that I've tried at beer festivals or I've had them in bag in the box. This is all specifically ones that you can buy in either can or bottle from directly from them, from the retailer, or from like supermarkets or stuff like that. So it must be, you know, it's ones that you can just literally go out and buy and try at home. And also you'll notice that some of these are probably more brands rather than actual cider producers. But if I started to just list a specific cider producer, especially for the more mass marketed cider companies out there, then their list is going to be astronomical. For example, like Bulmers, you know, Bulmers owns Strongbow and many other brands as well. If I just culminated them into one producer, the list would just be, well, it would be like pages long for the same thing. So with those particular ones, if it's a specific brand that has got like more than like 3 or more ciders in it, then it's on the list as well. Now, with that said, before we get into the top 20 this time, I just want to do a little bit of a couple of little facts for you guys. So we have got, let's see, we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have got 7 new producers on this list. Yeah, that's right. I've tried 7 new producers. Well, some of them aren't quite new, but I've not managed to try 3 of their range yet. So yeah, 7 new producers have made it onto my list this year. And I do believe there's 2 on this particular list. No, there is only 1. There's only 1 that's been added to this list. Now, I will just go through all the new cider producers that haven't quite made it to the top 20, just so you guys know what they are. And funnily enough, the one that's right at the very bottom, yes, a new producer has gone right to the very bottom of my list, with an average rating of 1.75, is Brothers Cider Company, well down in 47th place. Let me put it into perspective. The next highest one is Strongbow, and that has an average rating of 3.6. So the gap between the two is astronomically huge. That's just how abhorrently bad Brothers Ciders are. They're just awful. They are just really awful. I can't see that company moving from the bottom of this list anytime soon, unless I do find something that's even worse, but we shall see. Next up, in 39th place with an average rating of 6.0 is Healy's Cornish Cider Company. I did their Rattler many moons ago, and I've only recently just tried at least 3 of their range out. I mean, Rattler is a really nice cider. I do like it. The rest of their range, though, is a it's all right, you know. It's nothing to write home about. I think it's mainly because the ABV's been bumped down as well, so you don't get the same flavours and you just don't get the same feeling, basically, if you have anything other than Healy's Cornish Rattler. So yeah, but I mean, 6.0 is still above average, so that just shows you, doesn't it? And then next up in 32nd place with an average score of 6.75 is Norfolk Raider. Again, bit of a love-hate relationship with this company. Their traditional ciders are really, really nice. Very nice tasting and stuff. Their fruit ciders, their cider pops basically, I don't know, I just don't understand why they add sugar, like syrup into their fruit ciders. You didn't do it with your honey one, you didn't use artificial honey, you actually put honey into it. So why can't you do the same with your fruit ciders, or cider pops as they basically are? But no, the syrups, you can definitely tell that they are completely different from their traditional ciders, and it's a real shame because they have the capacity to make really good ciders all across the board. Just stop using syrups and you'll probably bump up way up on the list. So yeah, there we go, Norfolk Raider. And the final one that didn't make the top 20 was the Good Cider Company, average rating of 7.0. So yeah, their name is quite apt. They are good. They're not the excellent cider company or the awesome cider company. They are just the good cider company. Do you know what? I can't remember where these guys are from. I think it's Greece, to be fair. I'm going to have to look back on my reviews and find out. But yeah, unlike Norfolk Raider, you can actually tell that their ciders are using natural ingredients in their things. You can just tell the difference. I mean, nothing absolutely mind-blowing, but I mean, if you saw it in a restaurant or you're out and you see a bottle on the shelf, definitely just give them a go. They are really, really nice. So yeah, the Good Cider Company, they were in 25th place. There we go, 25th with an average score of 7.0. Now, one more little factoid for you guys. There's been no climbers at all in this particular top 20 at all. In fact, there's been no climbers at all. They've all just fallen down. But the biggest faller by a country mile, gone down 16 places. Yeah, 16 places from 15th all the way down to 31st is Hawks. Hawks Cider Company have fallen all the way down there. Average rating of 6.92 now. And this isn't due to the rebranding or anything like that. These are ciders from the original branding, so you can't judge it based off that. I've not actually had any of their range since the new rebranding, but I've just recently tried a couple of their range and they've really not been nice. Their Slam Funk was probably the worst one that I've tried from them. It was just, I know some people really do like it, but it really just was not for me. The flavours just did not meld well, and yeah, I probably won't be buying that ever again. And because of that, that's obviously bumped them down all that way. I mean, that just shows you, doesn't it? So yeah, you never know. Hawks, if I try some more of their range, they'll probably go back up, but we shall see. Anyway, enough rambling on. I've got it's not a cider, I've got a coffee ready. This is a chocolate caramel infused coffee. It smells lovely. I'll be having that as I do this. But let's waste no more time. Let's get into the top 20. So, 20, kicking us off, actually I suppose an honourable mention, because this is the first time that they've been bumped off the top 20, is St. Paul's Cidery. They have just missed out in the top 20 this year with an average rating of 7.33. So they were 19th, so they've gone down a couple of places. But yeah, I don't think they've got any more of their range out now, so I can't see them changing much at all over the next few years unless they do release something new and I can get a hold of it. But anyway, top 20 with an average score of 7.5, so we are starting off very strong. They were 18th, so they've just gone down a couple of places as well. Top 20, starting us off, is the Cotswold Cider Company. It's been a little while since I've actually reviewed one of their range. I know that they have got a fairly new canned range out, which I believe I've actually tried their She-Devil. I think it was in the Williams Ale and Cider House in London, and that was really pleasant. Obviously, didn't include it in here because I didn't get a chance to actually review it. But yeah, really do. I mean, I love the labelling of their bottled range. You know, their no-brainer sideburns. In fact, the blowhorn, the chai infused cider, that was a really pleasant surprise for me. I didn't know what to expect from it, but it was really, really nice. So yeah, if I can get a hold of their canned range, because again, the labelling looks really, really cool on it, I'm sure that Cotswold Cider Company will probably bump up in the ratings, but that all depends on if I can actually get a hold of them. But yeah. Starting us off very nicely with the top 20 is Cotswold Cider Company. Well done, guys. Okay, so 19th place. Average score of 7.5. So the same as the Cotswold Cider Company. But I've tried more of their range out, and that's obviously given more of a accurate reading and stuff, so bumped them slightly higher than the Cotswold Cider Company. They were 14th last year, actually, so they have actually gone down 4 places. But again, average rating of 7.5 is not bad at all. It is Sandford Orchards Cider Company. Yeah, again, this is one of the companies that has had a recent rebranding, as you can see on this on my old tablet here. And you know what? I quite like it as well. I loved their original labelling, but I don't know, cider companies are tending to go for a more simplistic but effective approach with their labellings recently, and Sandford Orchards have done the job. Can easily tell which one is which, gives you all the information that you need, and looks blooming good doing it as well. I recently retried their Devon Red, and it's still as lovely as I remember it. I'm sure there's some more of their range that I've not reviewed yet. I don't believe I've done their Fanny's Bramble, which I have seen around a lot, but I've just not got around to doing it. And they've also got sort of a specialist range, like the General and things like that. I've not reviewed any of those yet, so there is definitely more room for Sandford Orchards to either go up or down on the list. But hey, 7.5 is not a bad rating, is it? So 19th place goes to Sandford Orchards. Right, 18th place. This is going to be another company which I can't see changing much at all over the next few years, mainly because, well, A, I've probably tried their entire range by now, and B, they're based in Germany. Yes, in 18th place, average score of 7.66. They've only gone down a place. They were 17th last year, so they have been kind of around this sort of area pretty much since the start. It is Bemble with Care. I mean, if you've seen my previous countdowns, you know that I really do like Bemble with Care's range. It's not going to be for everybody. But I do like that they are a little bit experimental with their range. For example, their Apfelwein Cola, yes, cider mixed with Coke. Who'd have thought it? But you know what? It actually really does work. Yeah, and their Kirsch, so like their cherry infused Apfelwein, and even their traditional Apfelwein is just really, really nice. I know that they've really, they're sort of like the BrewDog of Germany, not in like ethics and all that, but the fact that they've like expanded so much across Germany, and you can pretty much get it almost anywhere, I want to say. So, you know, they have done really, really well. I know they tried to break the UK, and I have actually seen them in my local bottle shop, would you believe? So they have kind of done it. But I know that one of the founders of the company did leave a few years ago, so I don't know if there's going to be any more ranges coming out. I know that obviously they've not rebranded or anything, so they've kept to their traditional labels, which is really cool. And yeah, if they do ever bring any more of their range out, I'll see if I can track it down, and you never know, they might go up. But there you go. So that is Bemble with Care in 18th place. Okay, 17th place, here we go. So these guys were a 16th last year, and they were new last year as well. So, you know, they started off really strongly on the list with an average score of 7.75. It's the Nempnet Cider Company, or the Piglets range, as people tend to call them, because you've got Piglets Gold, Piglets Perry, but it is the Nempnet Cider Company that produces these ciders. And it was a funny story about these, because I tried their range to begin with in their old labelling, and they weren't nice at all. I really did not like them. They got in touch with me and said, hey, you're trying some old labels here, let us send you some newer rebranded labels out and see what you think. I was like, yeah, okay, why not? I tried them, and you know what? They were a million times better. So I don't know if I just had a really dodgy batch from their old labelling, but I'll tell you what, the new labelling definitely was a lot better. I think the Piglets, the Piglet's Choice is probably my favourite of the three that you can see here. These are the only three that I've actually tried of their range. Don't know if they've got any special ciders or anything. But yeah, the Piglet's Choice was a really, really lovely cider. And the Piglet's Perry is a very good example of a Perry. It's just got the nice range of floralness coupled with the sweetness, but it's not overpowering. So yeah, they definitely know what they're doing. Nothing absolutely mind-blowing or groundbreaking, but you know what? If you just want some really nice tasting, easy-going ciders, can't go wrong with Nempnet Cider Company. That's why they're 17th. Nempnet Cider Company. Right, 16th place is a new cider company. Well, the only cider company that's new to the top 20 to 11. So they also have an average rating of 7.75, but obviously because they're new, I've just bumped them slightly higher than the Nempnet Cider Company. And you know what? It's been a company that's been sort of on my cider list for years and years, but I've never actually got around to trying more than 3 of their range. And that has changed now. It is Cornish Orchards Cider Company. I'm really glad I managed to actually get round to trying at least 3 of their range out, because they are really nice ciders. And you know what? If I just scroll along here, look at all this range that they've got as well. You know, the farmhouse cider, the vintage, the dry, heritage. I tell you what, their heritage so far has been my favourite of the bunch. Such amazing flavours in it. It's just really, really nice. The gold, it's the run of the mill. Whenever you see a cider that lists itself as gold, Thatcher's and stuff like that, if it's got gold in the name, generally it's going to be just run of the mill, sort of like their staple cider, I guess. But yeah, the heritage, absolutely superb cider. I believe I've got the dry cider in the fridge ready to review, so the rating will probably change next year. But for now, that's a great position to start off in, kicking off in the top 20 in 16th place, Cornish Orchards. Watch out for them. There's going to be more in the future. Okay, 15th place. They were 12th last year, so they have actually gone down 3 places. So this is probably going to be a little bit of a controversial one now, because I know that these guys are very well respected. Not saying that I don't respect them at all, because they clearly know what they're doing with their ciders, and they have such a massive range of them as well. But I think the general reason it's gone down so far is because I just haven't had the chance to try any more of their range out. So with an average score of 7.91 in 15th place, it's Ross-on-Wye Cider Company. Now, I say I've not tried any of their range out recently, but while I was in Newcastle, I went to a pub called the Free Trade Inn, and they did some really good ciders, mainly from Ross-on-Wye and Oliver's. And I tried their Somerset Red Streak and Foxwhelp. Lovely. Absolutely lovely cider. Dry as you like. If you don't like your dry cider, so you wouldn't like that. But it was absolutely lovely. But of course I can't put it on this list because it's not in bottle. I haven't actually reviewed it. But if I do get around to reviewing it, I bet you these guys will definitely go up. I mean, look at this range. This is only a smidgen of their range that they do. These are just all like the 750ml bottles they do. They've got loads of 500ml bottles as well. They're constantly experimenting with single variety ciders and blends and Perrys and all sorts. They they're pushing the boundary with just like creating all the different blends and stuff, and I'm really excited to hopefully try some more out in the future, especially the Raison d'Etre. I don't think you can get that anymore, which is a real shame because I know people were raving about that one. But you never know, they might do it again at some point, and I'll endeavour to try and get a bottle and review it. So yeah, you never know. Hopefully they'll be going up at some point. But for now, in 15th place, that's Ross on Wye for you. Now, speaking of Oliver's cider, wouldn't you believe, with an average rating of 7.91 in 14th place, it's Oliver's Cider Company. Wouldn't you know it? The two ciders that I had in the free trade-in are the two companies that are side to side. Again, exactly the same rating as Ross on Wye. Now, they were 13th last year, so they have just gone down a place. Tom Oliver has just gone down a place, but that's mainly because of the new cider companies that have made the list, really. But yeah, I managed to actually try a couple more of his range out, and yeah, his ratings have been going up and up and up. I think he started off at like a 7.0, and he's just been going up and up and up, and I would imagine he will be going up a lot more if I can get a hold of his range, because Tom Oliver is sort of known as the wizard of the cider community. What he doesn't know about cider isn't worth knowing about, really. That's what people are saying. And when you hear some of his ciders that have come out, I mean, his Gold Rush range of ciders, because he does like different blends that year on year. So in the free trade-in, I reviewed his Gold Rush number 6, and in the free trade-in I tried Gold Rush number 8, and do you know what? It was even better than Gold Rush number 6 was for me, and number 6 was an absolutely amazing cider. So yeah, so like, you know, you got your Bottle Conditions 2015 thing there, Writers Perry collaboration, Yarnington Mill matured in oak. I mean, those all sound amazing, don't they? And he does collaborations with breweries as well. He's done like so much. He's just done so many collaborations and stuff. It's amazing. And yeah, people just absolutely rave about him. I think, yeah, I think these. I think Tom will definitely be going up in the list year on year. I can't ever see him, apart from if there's new companies added to the list, I can't ever see him going down. He's probably going to be an absolute mainstay in the top 20 and probably the top 10 at some point as well. So yeah, keep your eye out for him. That is Tom Oliver in Oliver's Cider. So 13th place, we've hit the 8.0. So this is average score of 8.0. In fact, do you know what? The next three are the 3 P and 8s, because all 3 companies start with a P and all 3 have an average rating of 8.0. So very, very similar ratings here. So, you know, you can just chuck them about as you want. If you want to put the 13 and 11, you can. They're all very, very similar. So yeah, with an average score of 8.0, they were 11th last year, so they've gone down a couple of places. It is Perry's Cider Company. Now, talking about good labels, Perry's have probably got some of the best looking labels out there, in my opinion. I just love the old style stamp motif that they've got on there, and all their ranges to do with like different creatures and stuff. Like I think their single variety is like insects and stuff. Like the Somerset Red Streak is now a stag beetle. Their blended ciders are more birds. So you know you've got your barn owl, you've got your puffin. The vintage is a lion. You've got your grey heron. And they are all lovely, absolutely lovely ciders. I can't fault them at all. If you do see any, go and buy them. They're just lovely. There have been a couple which have been a little bit not as great. Their OPA, their oak, I think it was oak, pear and apple or something like that. Everyone was raving about it, but I didn't actually rate that too highly. It just wasn't for me. But, you know, we can't all like the same things, can we? Pretty much the rest of their range have been absolutely superb. So, yeah, with an average score of 8.0, 13th place is Perry's. So, 12th place, again, average score of 8.0. They were 10th, so again, gone down a couple of places, a bit like Perry's. These guys are, well, I have to thank Eric Bryan for this, or Derpy Derp as he's known online, all the way from New Zealand. Yeah, it's Peckham Cider Company. Yep, second year in a row that they're in the top 20. And you know what? They're probably going to stay there quite a bit, I reckon. I know that they seem to be experimenting quite a bit from what I've seen from Derpy Derps Untapped. They do a lot of different ciders. I mean, I've not tried any of these ones. Home Block, Artisan Cider, Phantasmic, Western Pathfinder. They all sound absolutely amazing. A bit like Bamble with Care, I would imagine that these guys are probably going to hover around this part of the top 20 for the foreseeable future. Mainly because I just can't get a hold of them. It's only thanks to Eric Bryan that I actually managed to, try 3 of their range out, and that's why they are so high. So yeah, they are probably going to stay around the 8.0 mark. So yeah, you're probably going to see them around this bit for quite a while. You never know. I mean, New Zealand is on the cards for me to visit at some point. Don't know when that's going to be, but if I do, I'll definitely keep an eye out for these guys, because if you follow them, follow their Facebook page and everything, they do some cracking stuff from the looks of it. So, 8.0 in 12th place is Peckham's. And rounding off the first part of the top 20 in 11th place. They were 9th last year, so again, gone down a couple of places. Average score of 8.0. The third of the P producers is Pulped. Pulped Cider Company. Yeah, really like, again, fantastic labels on these. If you look on the side of their bottles, they've got a little graph or a little chart that shows what to expect from their ciders, whether it's going to be sweet, tannic, fruity, things like that. I think that's a really neat touch. Again, simplistic labelling, but it does the job well. And do you know what the best part is? You can now get Flair in your local Tesco's. Waste no more time. Go out and buy it now. It is an absolutely fantastic cider, and the fact that you can get it in supermarkets now is just, yeah, that is top notch. Chef's kiss, as you say. Yeah, hopefully more of their range will go into supermarkets, because all of their Unity, Level, Flair, they've all been cracking ciders. I have got, I can't remember the name of it. I have got a cider of theirs to review in my drinks cabinet, but it's got quite a long date on it, so you're going to have to wait a while for that. But when I do get round to it, I would imagine that these guys are going to be going up even more on the list. You never know, they might even break the top 10. So, average score of 8.0 once again. 11th place is Pulped. And with that, that is the first half. That is the, well, that's the 20 to 11 for you guys. So I hope you have enjoyed this and you've maybe seen one of your new favourite cider companies on this list. But all of these ones that I've featured are really great producers, great ciders. So even though they haven't made the top 10, still go out and try them because they are still fantastic. But next time, it will be the top 10. So, will Burrow Hill be number 1 still? Or has someone knocked them off the top of the list because they've been there for 3 years running straight? Well, you're going to have to find out, won't you? So, join me next time and I'll be counting down the 10 to 1. Until next time, I'll see you then.